By dawn on June 6, 1944, through the fog, Allied forces landed on 5 beaches of Normandy, France in huge numbers. With the aim to liberate France, laid the foundations for the Western Front against fascism, and ultimately liberate all Western Europe from Nazi Germany's control. Codenamed Operation Overlord, or best known today as D-Day, Normandy landing is one of the largest and most dangerous amphibious assaults in human history. Historical background of D-Day. By June 1940, France had fallen to the Nazis and Adolf Hitler was gloating over it as the most famous victory in history. With more than 300,000 British troops evacuating from the beaches of Dunkirk in a famous speech, the British Prime Minister Winston Churchill vowed to liberate France from Nazi Germany. A year later, the German invasion against Russia made the Soviets become one of the Britain allies. 6 months after that, America entered the war in an attempt to win it. 2 preliminary proposals were drawn up: Operation Sledgehammer and Operation Roundup. The latter was adopted, but delayed due to the Allied invasion of French North Africa in November 1942, the invasion of Sicily in the following year, and Italy in 2 months after that. In December 1943, at the Tehran Conference, Roosevelt and Stalin combined against Churchill to insist on launching the invasion across the English Channel within the next year. Allied preparation for D-Day. In January 1944, U.S. General Dwight Eisenhower was appointed Supreme Allied Commander to lead an invasion by the codename Operation Overlord. In the months leading up to the invasion, the Allies conducted Operation Bodyguard, the overall strategy designed to mislead the Germans about the date and location of the landings. 3 months later, Allied forces launched Exercise Tiger, a rehearsal for the D-Day invasion. Between April 1st and June 5th, over 11,000 aircraft were deployed, 200,000 sorties were launched, and 195,000 tons of bombs were dropped on French rail centers and road networks, etc., succeeding in isolating the invasion area from the rest of France. By early June, the number of troops present in Britain reached more than 2 million Americans, along with 250,000 Canadians in preparation for the Normandy invasion. Millions of tons of supplies were shipped from America to the staging area, including 450,000 tons of ammunition. German preparation. In November 1943, aware of a threat of an invasion along France's northern coast, Adolf Hitler appointed Erwin Rommel to spearhead defense operations in the region and finish the Atlantic Wall, a 2,400-mile fortification of bunkers, landmines, and beach and water obstacles. Believing that the Allies would invade Pas-de-Calais, the narrowest point between Britain and France, the German heavily defended the place. In the Normandy area, the best fortifications were concentrated at the port facilities of Cherbourg and Saint-Malo. By June 5, 1944, Rommel had been able to have some 4 million more mines laid on the beaches. The D-Day. The original date of Operation Overlord selected by Eisenhower was June 5th. However, on June 4th, high winds, heavy seas, and low clouds made it impossible to launch the invasion. On the morning of June 5th, after being assured about the sufficient improvement of the weather for the following day, Eisenhower gave the go-ahead for Operation Overlord on June 6th. By dawn of the planned day, U.S., British, and Canadian forces simultaneously landed on 5 separate beachheads of Normandy, France. The British Army landed in the east on the codenamed beaches Sword and Gold. The Canadians invaded Juno Beach. The American Army captured Omaha and Utah Beach. On Utah Beach, the U.S. 4th Infantry Division and 70th Tank Battalion succeeded in landing 21,000 troops at the cost of 197 casualties. American soldiers of the 82nd and 101st Airborne Divisions had been fighting for hours upon the soil of France and numbered an additional 14,000 men, with 2,500 casualties. Omaha, assigned to the U.S. 1st Infantry Division and supplemented by troops from the U.S. 29th Infantry Division, was the most heavily defended sector. At the end of D-Day, more than 30,000 troops successfully landed on Omaha at the cost of over 2,000 American casualties. Gold Beach was assaulted and taken from defending German troops by units of the British 50th Infantry Division, with 25,000 troops landed and 400 casualties. On Juno Beach, the Canadian 3rd Infantry Division managed to land over 20,000 troops at the cost of 1,200 casualties. Sword Beach was assaulted by units of the British 3rd Division, with nearly 30,000 troops landed and about 630 casualties. The 6th Airborne Division added a number of 6,000 troops landed at the cost of 1,500 casualties. In those fateful 24 hours of June 6th, approximately 156,000 Allied troops had successfully stormed Normandy beaches, and Allied casualties were at least 10,000, with more than 4,000 confirmed dead. Meanwhile, the Germans, in the absence of Rommel, were hampered by effective Allied air and naval support. German casualties numbered at least 4,000, but some other documents claim statistics of more than 9,000. After D-Day. Although all of the Allies' objectives had not been completed on the first day of D-Day, the operation gained a foothold that the Allies gradually expanded over the ensuing months. On June 12th, the key town of Carrington was captured by US troops, allowing 5 Allied beachheads to be connected for the first time. A week after D-Day, the Allies had landed 327,000 troops, 54,000 vehicles, and 103,000 tons of supplies in Normandy. On June 26th, the Allies captured the French port of Cherbourg. A month later, the city of Caen was captured. On August 15th, the Allies launched Operation Dragoon, the code name for the landing operation of the Allied invasion of Provence, and liberated most of southern France in just 4 weeks. 10 days later, the French capital of Paris was liberated. And just 5 days after that, the 3rd Canadian Infantry Division cost the Seine, as the Germans continued to fall back, marking the close of Operation Overlord. Aftermath. The epic Battle of France lasted several months with tremendous casualties on both sides. However, the very moment when the Allies broke through German defenses and liberated Paris on August 25th was clear evidence that the Nazi war machine was outgunned. On April 30th of the following year, Adolf Hitler committed suicide. On May 7th, less than a year after D-Day, Germany signed its unconditional surrender. The day after that, the Allies accepted Germany's surrender, marking the official end of World War II. This day was also announced VE Day, Victory in Europe Day, to celebrate the end of the Second World War. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to our channel.